What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Silent Hill 2 project, where we are comparing the original and the remake side by side. This is part 2. We have just had our conversation, our convoluted conversation with Angela in the cemetery. We're back on the original game, and we're going to continue our trek into town. Now, if you guys haven't already, I encourage you to check out the video that I published just after I made part 1, and it's called A Message for New Silent Hill 2 Players, where I discussed this cutscene with Angela in the cemetery and some of the things that Bloober changed about it. Just slight variations, which, you know, it's not a big deal. It's not. I wasn't trying to make a big deal about it. I was only saying that when people make adjustments here or adjustments there, it can actually change somebody's perspective. It can change the way that they view art. So I think that's what they did, and I made my own little cutscene there. I kind of scrapped scenes from the new game and the old game together so I could like rebuild it and make it better, in my opinion. Like I said before, guys, all of this is just based on my objection or my subjective opinion of the game, okay? But I'm gonna point something out real quick right here. Now, if you guys remember what was going on before we went into the cemetery and talked to Angela, there was something crazy going on. It was like something was in the woods tracking us, stalking us. Well, you feel better after you have a conversation with a human being, or you calm down, everything goes back to normal, right? As normal as this place can be. Then you come back out here and what? Just listen to the background sound if you can hear it. You hear it, it's like walking at our pace, like our footsteps. And it's way clearer right here than it even was in the woods. Okay, something that I have to explain real quick is that I didn't intend on starting a new game plus originally. Then I realized that, you know, on the original game, after you complete the game the first time, it automatically puts you on a new game plus. You don't have the option to choose it like you do on the remake. So basically what we did is we started a new game plus on the original game, and that just means that you completed the game one time. The second time you play it, you're going to have access to things you didn't have access to the first time you played it. This is one of those things that you have access to. Freaking chainsaw, which is crazy. I'm not so scared of you now, monster in the woods. No, but yeah, I thought about it a long time, and I decided, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this lore run in a new game plus, because there's really no point, you know, after thinking about this, I realized there's no point in doing a lore run unless you have access to everything that the game has to offer. So we actually are better off with a new game plus doing this lore run. Yeah, the wood right there, it looks kind of bloody. Whose chainsaw is this? We've got a sign, Silent Hill Ranch, right here. We'll look at the map. Okay, we're still on this road, and it's not marked, like there is no name for this road. It's just basically a trail getting into town, and there's not a whole lot to this part of the game. It's just a long trek, a long road. There's Eddie's van again. You could make the argument that that's Eddie's van. You know, we're going to talk about why. We already talked about why people think that the van at the rest area could be Eddie's van, but the thing is, you're going to see this van a lot as you play the game, and there's a reason why. We'll talk about it later on. There aren't really any pickups out here though. It's a long, desolate trek to get into town. And again, going along with that road sign that we talked about in part 1, it's a long trek. You know, it's supposed to feel like as you make your way and progress, you're getting more and more isolated. Therefore, the feeling of dread is intensifying as you get closer to town. Things still following me. All right, now this next area I want to point out, and this is really important. This is really important when it comes to the lore. Or my interpretation of the game. And I know that there's probably going to be people out there that don't agree with me, but just hear me out, okay? Now, looking at this is some kind of, you know, just shelter that's part of the path, and you have to go through that fence to make progress to get closer to town. But these newspapers on the ground right here, guys, what does this make you think about? And I mean, it took a long time for me to really put it together, but what do you think about when you see these newspapers? Like, if I could look at this scene right here and think about it in terms of like CSI, like a crime scene investigation or something, or do some detective work, I would say that somebody just thoughtlessly threw these newspapers on the ground. They're scattered everywhere. But why would they do that? Like, why would somebody throw a bunch of newspapers on the ground? Well, they must have been looking for something in the newspaper. Something important, like important information, an important article. They had a bunch of newspapers. They were looking through all of them. If they didn't find it in that particular newspaper, they would just throw it on the ground because they're kind of like in a hurry. Maybe they're on the run, you know, and they're just looking for an important piece of information. Like maybe they're trying to get confirmation about something, and they clearly didn't find it in these newspapers, so they just threw it on the ground carelessly. It's kind of evidence, really, if you think about it. But yes, my main point is just to point them out to you guys and tell you to remember them. Don't forget about the newspapers on the ground. There's more out here. There's even more. And see, you can play this game a million times and still not really take this into account because James doesn't say anything about it. But nonetheless, they're laying there. That's got to be for some kind of reason, right? There's more out here. There's more out here. I mean, they went through a lot of newspapers. Whoever it was. Is that important? Yeah, it's important. Okay, the next thing I want to point out is what I consider to be an Easter egg. Over here, kind of paying homage to the original game. I'm going to show you guys a cutscene from the original game, and we're going to talk about this for a minute. But check this out, okay? So you got like this canal looking thing right here. There's water down there. Okay. You've got this crop growing right here, and there's actually a barn right next to it. It's hard to see with the fog, but there's a barn right next to it. So we already looked at the sign that said Silent Hill Ranch. Well, it could also qualify as a farm. And that's clearly a crop right there growing. A lot of people have just brushed that off as being corn, and I'll show you what I mean when we go through the new game. But I'm going to show you guys this video clip from the first game and leave your comment. Tell me what you think about this and what this could possibly be. I don't think it's corn. I don't. So yeah, watch this clip real quick, and then I'm going to try to find some more information on it. But yeah, guys, check this out.
Where am I?
Harry.
Lisa? Then I'm in the hospital?
You were having a bad dream.
Was I? Hey, you don't look too good. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Nothing you need to worry about.
Well, if you're sure. Lisa, do you know a woman named Dahlia Gillespie?
Oh yeah, that crazy Gillespie lady. She's kind of famous around here. She never sees anybody, so I don't know that much about her. But I heard her kid died in a fire, and supposedly she's been crazy ever since.
Well, she says the town is being devoured by the darkness. Do you have any idea what she's talking about?
The town devoured by the darkness. Yes, I think I do. Before this place was turned into a resort, the townspeople here were on the quiet side. Everybody followed some kind of queer religion. Weird occult stuff, black magic, that kind of thing. As young people moved away, the people figured they'd been summoned by the gods. Evidently, things like that used to happen around here all the time. Before the resort, there really wasn't anything else out here. Everyone was so flipped out, you gotta blame it on something. Then a lot of new people came in and everybody clammed up about it.
A cult?
Last time I heard anything about it was, gosh, years ago. When several people connected with developing the town died in accidents. People said it was a curse. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm rambling. I'll shut up.
All right, so that was just a quick cutscene from Silent Hill 1 where Harry is in the hospital with Lisa and she's explaining the cult to him and what she knows about it. But I wanted you guys to watch that so that you could see the connotation with the cult and this plant that I'm talking about called White Claudia. Now there's also some documentation that you can find in Silent Hill 1 about the plant, and here's what you find in Silent Hill 1 about it at the police station. It says, product only available in select areas of Silent Hill. Raw material is White Claudia, a plant peculiar to the region. Manufactured here. Dealer equals manufacturer. So that's one of the notes, and it's like asking if it's manufactured here and if the dealer is the person that manufactures it. But it gets a little bit more interesting than that. The next note you find about it says perennial herb found near water, which this stuff that's growing that we just saw is right next to that canal, reaches height of 10 to 15 inches. Oblong leaves, white blossoms, seeds contain hallucinogen. Ancient records show it was used for religious ceremonies. The hallucinogenic effect was key. All right, and then there's some more on it. Like there's some more information on it that you can read up on. There's some stuff from the Silent Hill wiki page online about it. It's also mentioned and actually featured in some other Silent Hill games like Origins, and it's actually part of one of the endings in Origins, but we're not talking about that game here. And there's some lore on the Silent Hill wiki about it, and it talks about, I'm not going to read it, but it talks about how if you guys know who Dr. Kaufman is from Silent Hill 1, how he actually manufactured the substance from the plant. It's called PTV. It's an illicit narcotic. And he was selling it to tourists in Silent Hill, and the cult was also using it to like manipulate people. And the nurse that we just saw, Lisa Garland, was one of the victims. She was like addicted to it. But that goes into Silent Hill 1. I won't get into all that. But there is another interesting thing to point out about the new game that just came out, the remake. Apparently, it's part of one of the endings or related to it, and I didn't even know that until just now when I looked it up. But yes, that's what it is. That's how it's connected to the story, and I honestly believe that it's actually growing right there. What we're looking at is the plant. All right, we have arrived officially into town. Now, again, there are some pickups here and there. There is a med kit right here. First aid kit, sorry. I'm not playing Tomb Raider. There's a flower shop right here, and it's actually marked on the map, so... But you can't go into it. You can't go into any of these buildings except for a couple of them. And now that we're here walking the streets, I will mention that when they made this game on PlayStation 2, they were very limited as far as what they were able to pull off with the hardware and its capabilities. Are these marks blood? Oh my God, what is that? And so because they were limited with the hardware, they basically, they had to make some compromises. One thing they were limited with was their array of 3D models that they could actually make. That's why we've seen Eddie's van twice at this point. And a lot of this stuff you're gonna find it repeated, but they tried to use what they had. They tried to like utilize what they could as good as they could, you know, to the best of their ability, and they pulled it off. So we are going to see a lot of repeated 3D models, especially in this part of the game when we're just walking through the streets of the town. And I'll point it out, you know, some of the things about that. But our goal is really just, we found this creature walking down the road. Our goal is to follow it. We follow it by following the blood trail. But before we do, I want to point this out right here. Something is written on it. Too bad I can't read it because the surface has been rubbed away. Remains of blank swamp. The blankers of land surrounding blank is monument was originally swamp, but was later filled blank FR blank NG ago T blanks nicknamed Blood Swamp because the blank poured the blank. That's probably water. I think it says the executioners poured the water used to wash the executioner's tools in here. Perhaps it is maybe that says for the better, that many people seem to have, or many people something, that S is throwing me off. Many people seem to have forgotten the area, maybe. But it's talking about, it's mentioning executioners, and it's mentioning, I think this is cult related, or in fact I know it is. Basically, it's called Blood Swamp because people were sacrificed in the swamp, and the executioners used the water of the swamp to wash their tools, or some crap like that. Yeah, it's really demented and dark. I think I passed where I need to go in, but I wanted to point that out so I can say some stuff about it later on. See, now that I have played the new game and I'm going back to the old game, it's kind of throwing me off a little bit. There's a health drink. Okay, here we go. So what we did is we're following the blood. We're gonna go up this alley right here. See where it's going to. There's a gate you can go into right here. Love that atmospheric music, if you can call it music. It's immersive. Looks like we found our friend. How does he not notice that thing right there? He's preoccupied by the radio.
Is it dead? What the hell is
That
it?
one they pretty much give to you.
It's not human.
And so we've just encountered the first monster of the game. It's called the lying figure or the straitjacket. There seems to be a corpse right here. It was like feeding on the corpse. And you don't see that any other part of the game, but you see it right here. Dead. Could it have been that creature? And I've heard that that's actually Angela's 3D model right there. It's not supposed to be her, but because they were limited, like I said, they had to use repeating 3D models and stuff like that. So now we have a weapon, a melee weapon.
Oh yeah. This thing broken? I'd better take it anyway. I might need it.
His mouth was like right there. That was weird. Okay, so that was the only point of coming all the way back here off of the road. And so really the goal from this point out is to explore the town, get a good feel of the map. But it's not what it seems if you've never seen or played the game. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. But there are plenty of labeled buildings on the map, but you can't go into any of these buildings. But it's interesting how they did that. And we'll talk more about that when we get to the new game. I mean, I know why they did it in the original. It's probably so the map wouldn't seem so bland or empty. Because in reality, you can't go into any of these places, but they are there. So yeah, we're gonna run into this a lot, where the road is just gone. See, the first one was nice to me. This one, not so much. Stay down. It's always best to kick them when they're down. And you don't have to fight these things. Really, it's your choice. And I'll say it exactly like that because it really is your choice. You don't have to fight them. You can just run. So when I made the statement in part 1, I said, you know, this is just my subjective opinion on the game and what I feel it means. And I wanted to kind of break some of the lore down for you and talk about some of the things in this game. But I made the statement that there are probably things that I'm going to miss because I still don't know everything about this game. And there's probably a lot, because I've been playing it for so long, there's a lot that I probably forgot about, that I used to know about. So I can't guarantee that I'm not going to overlook something in this part of the game because it is such a wide open space to explore, and I'm trying to keep time, you know, take time into consideration because I do have a completely different game. The remake to cover over in this video, but I'm going to try to run through here and find some items. We are going to need these. So it's always best, you know, survival horror strategies, you know. Do as much exploring as you can, collect as many items as you can. But I just want you guys to get a good look at the town and, you know, what it looks like. The detail that they went to convince you that this is an actual place. But it's desolate, it's empty. You know. See, I'm seeing things now that, you know, after playing the new game, I'm recognizing some stuff. Now that I'm coming back to the original, I'm seeing things that they elaborated on in the new game, things that they included just by studying the original. And I'll point that stuff out to you when we get to the new game. But this is like a fast food chain. It's called Happy Burger right here. And though you can't go into any of these buildings, they are all different, which is nice. And if you really slow down and take the time to look at everything, it is very detailed. That looks like a note. Yeah, it is. There's a memo lying on the sofa. I'll wait at Bar Neely's. We just ran right past that place. Okay, but that's giving you a clue about where you can go to progress in the game. Also, again, because this is a new game plus, you get the hyper spray. And that was a save spot back there, but I don't need to save just yet. Lock gate. Where does that go? Looks like that goes to the other side of town where we have the other map for it. So we'll run over to Bar Neely's. Don't know why they don't just call it Neely's Bar. Bar Neely's right here. Okay, so the front's locked. You gotta come over here. The camera helps you a lot right here. Shows you that there's a back door you can get into. There's a map here. Okay, this map has markings on it, and if you look over to the left side, it says Woodside apartment, and there's an arrow coming down onto Cat Street, like the person went through the apartment building because the roads are messed up. You see they put an X up there at the intersection of Neely Street and Nathan Avenue, so they had to go through the apartments to get around that big hole in the road. And that's kind of the setup of the game. Like, you have to go into areas to get around places that you can't get access through, which is a really brilliant idea. That all started with Silent Hill 1. But clearly somebody else has been in this town since it has been empty like this. And, well, it looks like they may have come from the other direction, because you can see Rosewater Park up there in the top left corner, and it looks like they were trying to get over here to where we are. They also put a question mark at the end of Martin Street, if you can see that right there, right below where it says Nathan Avenue. And they circled that camper that we were just in. And he even mentioned, what's that symbol at the end of Martin Street? Well, let's go find out. So he's going to mark it on his map. There was a hole here. It's gone now. Probably one of the most famous quotes from this game because it's so cryptic and you don't know what the hell it's talking about. There's plenty of speculation as to what it could mean. It could be a foreshadowing thing. I'm not even going to go through the list, guys. Because if you know this game and you've seen this before, then you already know what the, all the theories are about this. But nobody still really knows what it means. And even the developer that put it there, he's like, you're not supposed to know what that means. It has no meaning. It's just there to make you ponder and question the universe. But everybody has their own theory about what that means. You notice the traffic light is still on with the crosswalk. Okay, I need to get to Martin Street. I'm going the wrong way. Okay, there's just a dead guy laying there. And see, if you look at what the clothes that corpse has, that looks like James's outfit. Almost there. Okay. Apartment gate key. Okay, that's what was at the end of Martin Street. So it looks like we might need to go through those apartments. Guys, I might switch the remake over to a new game plus. It wasn't an intentional thing, but because this save file from the original game is apparently it's on a new game plus, I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna run both games the same way. Okay. So, and there's really no point in doing a lore run without having access to everything that's in the game, right? And I thought about that earlier. So we've got a corpse on the ground here, and we've got some papers, a torn memo page on the, I think I did that backwards, sorry. I'm supposed to start with this one. And these things, I'm going to write everything that I've learned so far. Maybe that will help you out somehow. If you're reading this, it probably means I'm already dead. Yeah. Yeah, you look dead, dude. I saw those demons. They were there, I'm certain. But my friend says he didn't see anything. If that's... Look up. Hang on. I was gonna leave you alone, but you didn't leave me alone, so that's how you want it to be, that's how it'll be. Alright. Alright. Oh, you want some too, huh? They kind of lure you. They want you to chase them. Okay, let's get back to it. I saw those demons. They were there, I'm certain, but my friend says he didn't see anything. If that's true, does that mean that what I saw was an illusion? But whether that demon that ate human beings was real or whether it was just some kind of hallucination that my mind dreamed up, one thing I know for sure is that I'm beyond all hope. He mentions a hallucinogen. Was he taking White Claudia? It seems that they're attracted to light. That's why people who need light to see are their natural prey. They also react strongly to sound. If you want to go on living, you'd be better off just sitting in the dark and staying quiet, but even that probably won't save you. Ooh, that's ominous. That's scary. If you're going to try to fight them, the most important thing is to relax. It's dangerous to fire a gun while you're all crazy with fear. Take good aim and then squeeze the trigger. And don't forget to finish them off. I think most of those creatures can be killed, even if they are tougher than people. Run away. And then we've got this one, we already looked at it. So maybe he changed his mind. Maybe he changed his mind about that. Well, looks like it didn't do him much good though, because there he is. Okay guys, there is a save point in the Woodside apartment building. As soon as you go in, I'm gonna save the game there, and then we're gonna switch over to the new game. If I missed anything, if there's anything important that I was supposed to talk about that I overlooked, I apologize. But I'm just trying to conserve time so that this video is not like 4 hours long. I don't think there's anything outside the apartment building, so. Okay, we're here. The first true location of the game. We made it. So let me grab this map over here. We won't talk about the map yet. And then I'll come over here and save my game. Okay guys, I'll see you in just a sec on the PS5 in the remake. All right, let's do this. All right guys, since we're doing a new game plus, this is something I decided I would show you from the new game. And this is only if you're doing a new game plus. So this is your second time playing the game. On your path down to the cemetery, you're gonna find this note which says, "Grave truths lost to the mind shall flow white into a void chalice. So the rite of red shall commence." Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that that is referring to a specific ending that you get, or that you can get if you choose to, after you've played the game one time through. Okay guys, we are picking up where we left off in the remake. So, same gate leading out of the cemetery toward town. Let's do this. The Music is back. This is so awesome looking. Okay, so we've got some immediate changes. Same area. You can tell it's still the same area, but it's a little bit different. I'm not hearing. Maybe hearing something in the woods or something. Maybe in the cornfield. Following us. There's a scarecrow, like a Sleepy Hollow looking, Tim Burton looking scarecrow over there. Alright, and I hear the chainsaw. Here it is. Nowhere near as loud and obnoxious. There we go. There's our sign, Silent Hill Ranch. So it's pretty incredible how similar it is. I mean, it's pretty spot on right here. Still can't get in here. There's the rusty water tower. There's Eddie's van, maybe. No, I don't know that anybody ever said that one was Eddie's van, but could be. Okay, we've got some additional 3D models here. We've got this shed that's full of junk. I'm not going to point everything out that's different, but yeah. As you can tell, it's slightly different right here. There's been a change in the layout. So this is where we encounter our first change as far as where the map differs from the original game. But it's the same place. Silent Hill Ranch. You can just see way more of it now. Which is great. I love it. We've got another sign for Pete's Bolorama. Can't really tell what it says. Something from here. ROD. It looks like it says 9 rod from here. Maybe it's telling you how far away it is, but the sign's all messed up. Okay, so I forgot to point this out, but there's a door here now that's locked, and you can't get through there, but that's actually the way you need to go. So you can get in here. There's a door here that's locked. And there's a note here. It says, went to town to get the window fixed, spare keys in the drawer. In the drawer in here, I'm assuming, inside this building.
Hello? Anyone in here?
Another major change, because this is a modern game, is you can no longer click on things like you can in those old original kind of games. You can't click on stuff anymore and have subtext come up where he mentions something about it. He just says everything out loud now. Okay. Got a key. Must be the key to that door. And yeah, that's pretty much all you're gonna find in this garage. So now we can come through here. Look at the map again to see where we are. Okay, we're all the way over here next to Nathan Avenue, so we pretty much made it. Well, I can't really compare this part to anything in the original game because it's just completely different. We've got something over here we can click on. Alright, now this game, it'll make that sound and it'll kind of change the camera whenever you find something that's really similar or maybe even from the original game. It'll make that sound and it'll show you. It's like a flashback or maybe an homage, or I don't know what the right word is, but it's just showing you that they put this in here and this is what's in the original game. Even though in the original game, if this is the area that you encounter the first lying figure, it's not actually in this part of the map. So it's kind of confusing. But this right here, this is kind of similar to the area we were looking at where I pointed out all the newspaper on the ground. And there's no newspaper here. There's trash, but there's no newspaper on the ground. So that stuff is gone. It's not in here. But you can see the similarity to the area that the newspaper was in. You come through this gate. This is where there was more newspaper, but all that's gone now. Since the game wants me to break the glass, I'm going to break the glass. But this is how you can find items in the new game. You can actually break into the vehicles. Sometimes there might be health drinks or ammo in them. This is very clearly the area where I pointed out the plants, the crop to you, where I said that that's probably White Claudia and it's probably an Easter egg for the first game. Well, if you can see, I don't know if you can or not, the barn in the distance right there, the silo sticking up in the fog, and then the crop. That right there, that is very clearly corn. So maybe they just, they didn't think about the White Claudia Easter egg when they studied the map from the original game, and they didn't think that, well, that might be White Claudia. So they made it corn. And most people think that it is corn, and maybe it is, but I don't think it is. I think it's White Claudia, because the original game, Silent Hill 1, it says that it's grown in the area, it's grown near a water source, and 10 to 15 inches high, and oblong leaves, which the leaves on those plants from the original game that we looked at, they were kind of oblong, and then there was like a white flower coming out of the top of it. So it fit the description of White Claudia. But this is still really cool right here. I love the telephone poles. It's very realistic looking. Again, it looks very convincible as a real place. It looks very convincing as a real place. Roadrunner. I should have pointed this out in the original game, but yeah, there's a place in the original game called the Roadrunner. You can't go in that one. Okay, we're all the way down here now. So it's different. We're almost on the edge of the map. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we are going to get a new map right away. And there we go, next map. Now, as you can see on this map, we can finally see Rosewater Park, which is something that he underlined in the original game. So I'm going to run around a little bit and just show you guys what it looks like. Now, I pointed out the flower shop in the original, and here it is, and you can actually go in to this place. There's a note here. Miss Cassandra, a customer came in today, offered a mixed bouquet, red and white. I tried to explain it's bad luck, but he couldn't decide on just one. He seemed a bit off, looked at me like I wasn't even there. Then he just left, said he'd be back to pick him up later. I just wanted to let you know since I might be gone by then. You can also flip these around. Sometimes there's stuff on the back of them. Giant roach, which he automatically pulls his chainsaw out or whatever weapon he has, melee weapon, when there's an enemy nearby. Like, you have no control over that. And I don't like that very much, but it is what it is. I can live with it. Now, one thing I thought to do was, you see right there where it says Vox Road. I thought about going up there because that's where you encounter the first lying figure enemy in the original game. I thought about going up there the first time I played this. Actually, there's something I forgot. It's not a big deal, but there's some kind of red substance on the ground coming out of that flower shop, and here it is again.
What is this?
Could be blood. Probably is. And this just looks so cool. Like the front of this house, some of these houses, what it reminds me of is, you remember Michael Jackson's video Thriller, the little short film that he did for the song, and they're like coming out of the house, and it looks a lot like this, the house that they're coming out of, with the front porch. It's just like an old, eerie, creepy looking house. Also, maybe Stir of Echoes, you know, the movie with Kevin Bacon from the 90s, kind of reminds me of that. The house that they lived in that movie. And like the original game, most of these buildings you can't go in.
More of that stuff.
But a lot of them you actually can. This was in the, like, this was on the map from the game, but it's okay. We're doing this right now. So similar to the original.
Hey, wait.
It wants you to follow, but you can actually okay, I get it. All right. Okay, I see what's going on here. So there's a peephole. You can go into this building, but you can't go into it yet. I never noticed the peephole before. But it's called the Café Texan, and it's in the original game on the map. So basically, it just wants you to follow the monster right here. We do have this too, which is awesome. Remains of blank swamp. The blankers of land surrounding his monument was originally a swamp, but later filled. It was once nicknamed Blood Swamp because the water used to wash the tools after the executions would be poured. Perhaps it's for the better that many inhabitants claim. This one's a little bit different, isn't it? Claim to have. Yeah, this one's different. That's kind of cool. Forgotten the area. It looks like it might be. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't see why they would change it, but I don't know. Okay, I can see it on here. Perhaps it is for that reason that many inhabitants claim to have forgotten the area. I don't know. So guys, I wanted to point this out to you now that we're reading this memorial stone in the new game, because we found this in the new game yesterday, and I didn't even know this until, you know, I made part 1 of the project. But do you remember when we were in the cemetery and, you know, I was distracted by the conversation he was having with Angela, and we found that spot of water, and I said it might be flooded, and it looked like it was, because there were like headstones like down in the water. It doesn't say this for sure, but I'm thinking that maybe they did that and they kind of wanted to elaborate, and they wanted people to discover a connection here. Maybe, perhaps, like maybe that part of the cemetery is like flooded because it's actually part of that swamp that this monument's talking about, Blood Swamp. Maybe if you were to keep going, which you can't, I mean, I tried to, it'd be cool if you could, but maybe that goes into that swamp that this monument is talking about. I don't know, it's just, it might not, but I'm just saying, what if that is Blood Swamp right there at the edge of the cemetery? Something pretty cool to think about. I don't know. It's cool that that's in there. I love the music right here too. It is all remixed from the original game, but this particular track, it seems to be more intense.
What happened to this town?
Than the original one. Yeah, here's where the road breaks. Check out the house leaning over this. It's so creepy looking. It's being sucked into the earth. I love the look of this right here. This first time I saw it, I was like, oh yeah. That is awesome. But you realize that you're blocked off, so like there's no way that that thing went that way. But if you look on the map, there's like these openings in between the houses, and that's how you figure out where to go next. Not too difficult. And then there's also this right here, letting you know you gotta come back here.
Hello?
Sorry, he pulls that thing out on his own. I have no control over it. This is another thing that they do. They will mark the pathway with this white toilet paper looking cloth stuff. And that's how you know where you're supposed to go. I don't know who started that. It's a thing that most modern games do. I remember seeing it. Like the earliest game that I probably saw it in was like Uncharted, back in the PS3 days. But it's pretty common. Save point. And I mean, it's like right here that the first time I played this, I felt like I was kind of playing a different game. It's like, it's weird, it's hard to explain. It's not a different game, but it feels so different, you know? That it's kind of unrelatable to the original game right there, right here at this part. But that's okay, because it's a remake. Like, I can appreciate that, for sure. It's not bad. It just has a different feel to it, you know?
Stay back. Is this what I saw in the fog? Whatever it is, it's not human.
So guys, obviously the combat it's been upgraded. It's more advanced now, which is fine. It's a modern game, but it's still very primitive. I will say it's a step beyond the original game, but it's not up to par with modern games. Actually, it's still pretty primitive in comparison to most modern games. It's okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I think they made a pretty good choice, pretty good decisions, considering, you know, that they're just recreating an old game, and that it's considered survival horror. So really, the combat should be pretty basic. If you make the combat too technical in a survival horror game, it kind of changes the feel of it a little bit, you know? It's not all about combat, you know? So some games, the combat is so technically advanced that that's what the game is like centered around. But you can't do that with a game like this because it's not all about the combat. So you have to break this window to get through here. So just like in the original game, don't think I said anything about that the first time around, but everybody knows, if you've played the game before, you know whose voice that is. And I wanted to wait till now to talk about it until we went through it in both games, but obviously they pretty much, if they didn't put that in there, then that would have been a real big problem. But we know whose voice that is, and that's how you are introduced to the radio mechanic of the game. It's from the classic Silent Hill, so it emits static when enemies are nearby, and that's why you want to have it.
Where are you, Mary?
And you can turn it off. You can switch it off in both games, but if you do that, it kind of kills the atmosphere a little bit because it's supposed to be creepy, and it kind of is in some instances. The cool thing about the new game is that you can actually hear it. There's like a speaker on the PS5 controller. You can hear it emitting the static from the radio. More of the stuff right there, and so now we know what all that stuff is. It's blood, and there's a corpse here. Matchbook says Bar Neely's. So he's gonna mark it on the map. So that's kind of similar to the actually, no, it's not. Because you find the note in the camper in the original game telling you to go to Neely's Bar. If you're reading this, leave. This place is not what it seems. Sometimes you just have to look behind. Ooh, what's going to happen if I look behind? I'm so scared right now I can't move. I'm like frozen in fear. It kind of makes you think the corpse is going to get up and come after you. It's pretty cool. It's a nice little flavor jump scare, I guess. You know, this game's not about jump scares, but it's fine to have them here and there. Another save point. I just saved though. Okay, so now we made our way out to this part, like the main part of the town. We can go into that cafe now. We're on the right side. And again, a lot of the items that you're going to find are going to be in these vehicles, so it's good to check them. Come at me, bro. Okay, this is the Café Texan that we were peeping into earlier. He almost got me. So the monsters in this game, they do kind of feel like they're a little bit harder to evade from the beginning. Yeah, there's a health drink over here, but he wouldn't respond to it. I think it's okay. It's because of the glass. You gotta remember to break the glass. You can really just break all the glass you want. Okay, shoot. I just realized something that I forgot to show you guys in the original game. I'll show it to you in this one. It's pretty much the same. There's really no difference to it. And I just realized, like I told you guys, I might overlook some things. I might forget about some things. And that's something that I really like about the new game, is that monsters, they'll come at you. They'll come through windows, they'll come through doors, they'll do whatever they need to do to get at you. And that's pretty scary. That makes the game a lot scarier. Super strong, super clean, wash away the stains of yesterday. Could that be flavor text? Maybe. I mean, I haven't really figured out exactly what this is for. It almost makes it seem like a puzzle, but there's really nothing that I've found so far that you can do with that. But if it is flavor text, then it has to do with the narrative of the story. Because James can definitely relate to that. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so right away it wants you to go to Neely's Bar, which is down here. So I'll do that first. This time around, you can actually come through the front door. I don't know what got into him. He just started smashing the thing. Had to throw him out. He ran off, cried he'd fix everything. I gathered up what I could. Still haven't found one of the buttons. Half the record is still lodged inside, but the other part's missing. Figure he must have taken it. Come to think of it, he did run towards Groovy. Anyway, maybe go check up on him, see if he's all right. He lives over at Saul by the pharmacy, apartment 9. Well, that's very different compared to the original game. But we do still have our... There was a hole here, it's gone now. So we have an errand mission to run on top of, you know, what was already here in the original game. That's interesting. Okay. Okay, so this is what they're talking about. Some dude broke. Right here. It's a broken jukebox. And we got half of a record. That's the record it's talking about. That door is locked right now. It mentions something about Saul Street Apartments and Groovy Music, which are circled on the map. We get to choose which one we go to first. So it's like a split path kind of deal. And I'll probably go to the apartments first, but first I want to check down here. Okay, I remember seeing this building in the original game, which is kind of cool that it's right there. So as you guys can see, there's more added to this now. So it's going to be a little bit more complicated than, look, there's a truck. They actually included a truck in this game. I like that. Being a truck driver and everything, you know. They added more to it. So it's going to take a little bit longer to get to those apartments now. You will see sooner or later, you will see. Dang, James, calm down. Check from 0 to 4013, took almost 2 hours, had to run. Was that the truck driver? Okay, got a barrier wall here. You guys remember Happy Burger? Well, you can actually go into it now. Basically what I'm doing right now is I'm collecting items that we're gonna need. to help get through the game. Feel the craving, you just can't help it. Go for it. Happy Burger. What you need is what you get. On the run, grab something to go. That thing was laying on the floor. It looked like it was dead, but... Ooh, you got me. I'm hurt, but I'll be all right. This border, this red border that goes around the screen, you can turn it off if you want to. It's just like a health indicator. It'll get like more intense. Like the more hurt you are, it'll get more intense. But yeah, that was really the only thing we came in here for. Is that health item. There you go. Let's heal real quick, and let's check out the chainsaw. Makes quick work of those things. Here's the pharmacy that it was talking about. So the apartments are actually right here. Before we come in here, I think there's something else that we need to check out down here. Yep, a note. Or a map, sorry. Map. There's our map from the original game. You see the arrow going through the apartments and the question mark on Martin Street. This place, all it's ever brought me is pain and misery. It's like a little miniature apartment building here. This feels like just like a side quest that I'm getting through to get on with the rest of the game, really. We've got a date on this receipt from the pharmacy. It looks like it says 6/22/1982, which is interesting. So that'll give you an idea about the time period that Silent Hill takes place in, at least according to this game. Which it makes sense, because if you look at all the cars, you know, the vehicles from the original game, they're all older looking like that. So I kind of like that. It is, you know, taking place back then. Apartment 5 left his key. Says there's a leak from upstairs. Gotta check it out. There's his key. That thing chased me down the damn hallway. It's a bug and it's chasing me down the hallway. Okay, so this is why we came into apartment 5, to get around through this wall. Something's happening upstairs. That didn't sound good. Not at all. So we're stuck up here. And then she came and washed it all away. It all started to make sense again. It's this place. I can't fight it. Gotta get my head straight. Quick stop at Texan. Okay, we've already been through there. That's where we got the coin out of that register. Hole in the wall, and it wants you to put your arm in it. Must smell bad in there, like a corpse rotting. That looks like ink. Okay, so we found what we came in here for. We came in here for the button. It was to that jukebox back at Neely's bar. So we can actually get out of here now. Back to the streets. So it was kind of a side quest. It didn't take very long to do that. One thing that I want to point out here is I told you guys in part 1 that we would talk about where Silent Hill is, okay? Damn it, you can't go back. Okay, so I'm getting kind of close to the end of my recording duration. So I think I'm going to end the video right here and start up again with the next one. There was something that I was going to show you guys that was really important, that I distinctly saw. The first time I played through the game. And it kind of just clarified something. I forgot there's like 2 of those things in here. You're not safe anywhere you go. Alright, so if you guys remember, we're looking for pieces to fix that jukebox and really the record. So we're gonna grab this stuff real quick. I think there might be some health items in here. It's real hard to see. The janitor came in the other day, drunk and in tears, had half a record with him, kept yelling, "We gotta fix it somehow." I was willing to do it just to shut him up, so I got up to get the glue from the cabinet, but then he realized he only had 1/2 of the record, so he ran out. Can't do much about the record. Maybe ask around at Neely's next time you're there. It might be one of theirs. There's your little clue hinting on what to look for here. Out of This World magazine. This might kind of be some flavor text hinting at some parts of the rest of the game. I don't get the prehistoric creature one. But the rest of that, it kind of fits with the rest of the game. There is an alien or a UFO ending to this game. It's like a bonus ending. If it's really dark, I apologize, guys. I might need to fix that, or at least try to. That's a little bit better. See, now it's like super bright out here. Okay, this is something that I missed in the original game. This door, there's actually 2 of them in this game. There's one over there in front of the main apartments that you have to go into, and there's another one over here. I guess they put this one here because this is actually the way that you have to, you know, use to go later on in the game. But they kept the one over there, I guess, for the sake of people that, like me, that want to compare everything. And I'll show you the other one in a minute here. But it says the door that wakes in darkness opening into nightmares. And this is another foreshadowing situation. Apparently you can use a chainsaw to kill cockroaches, giant ones. And so guys, the thing that I really wanted to show you, I can't get back to. I can't go back there to show it to you now, so I kind of missed my opportunity, but that's okay. I'm going to cut the video once we do get to the apartments. I'll cut the video and I'll go back to find what it is I'm looking for so that I can show it to you. There is one other thing on this street that I want to get real quick though. There's a back door right here that has a code. Need to come in here because there are some pickup items in here. One thing that I appreciate about the new game is that when you find ammo, like boxes of bullets, rarely are you ever going to find a box that's full of bullets. It's usually almost empty. So if you find a box here or a box there, it might only have like 2 or 3 bullets in it, and it's always random, so you don't ever know. And I just think that feels more realistic because, you know, you find gun ammo laying around, chances are it's going to be partially used. You're not just going to find new boxes of bullets. So I think that makes it more realistic. But it also makes the ammo a hell of a lot more scarce in the game. So the last step to this puzzle would be to come back up here. I'm actually going the wrong way. Hang on. Alright. So I need to take my pieces, combine them together, fix the record. Kind of a cool puzzle. I kind of like it. But then we had the button too, so we got to fix that. And that record that we put in the jukebox, the key is knowing where we put it. So it looks like we put it in C2. I mean, it's kind of obvious. That's the slot that's broken. So it's a pretty cool puzzle. I think you got to do it that way. Now I can select it. So we had to have that coin, we had to have the record pieces, the glue, and the button. Nice cinematics.
Park on the lake. We spent the whole day there. Just the two of us staring at the water.
Okay, that key opens this door. The bad thing about the brightness is that when you're outside, it seems like it's too bright, but you almost have to have it this bright to be able to see. And I know it's going to be darker in the video anyway. When you're in these dark buildings, it's so dark you can't see. So I try to bring it up some. If it's overexposed, I'll try to fix it in part 3 when we come back. But the next part of the game, it's pretty dark. So no point in changing it right here. He came back after you left. It's fine. He didn't try anything. He just seemed sad. Mumbled something about getting out of this town with someone. I wasn't gonna let him drive in his condition, so I locked him out. His car should be out back. Maybe check if it's still there by morning. It's the greenish blue one, plate number ending with 06, I think. So this is fun. Like this is one thing I'll go ahead and say right now. This is fun. I'm enjoying doing this. It's kind of memorable. It kind of makes me feel like I'm playing a Silent Hill game, and I like that about it. But when it comes to Silent Hill 2, I feel like it's throwing me off from that original narrative that I was talking about before. It almost feels like there's a game stacked on top of another game. Like they used Silent Hill 2. This is the last thing I'll say. I won't say anything else yet, but it almost feels like they used the setting and the atmosphere of Silent Hill 2 to make a little miniature story or something with inside of a game that already existed. It's kind of what it feels like. Because none of this stuff means anything to me because I want to play Silent Hill 2, you know. But this isn't in the original Silent Hill 2 game. So I think it's kind of important to point that out as far as, you know, how I feel about this and what I think about this. I think it's just adding some stuff that wasn't in the original game, and it might confuse players that are new. It might throw them off. Like, for me, it's okay. And like I said, I'm enjoying doing it. But I already have played the original game. I know how the story goes, and I know this doesn't fit with the original story. This is just extra stuff to do. But for somebody that doesn't know the original game, it feels like this might throw them off. And it might take some of the importance off of the narrative from the original game. And that's not okay. Because it makes it takes away some of the raw, visceral goodness of the original game, where I feel like this is fun, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary to tell the story, and it doesn't relate. Like this guy that we're reading about that left town, who the hell are they talking about, and why does it matter, and why should we care? It's not in the original game. And it doesn't bother me to do it or read about the guy that doesn't matter, but it bothers me that people that have never played the original game are going to play this, and this is going to take their focus off of what really matters. I guess that's really all I'm trying to say. Okay, this is the car that they're talking about. It has the license plate ending with 6. But speaking of license plates, let's do this real quick. About to get jumped. Gonna do that. Okay, so the atmosphere just intensified a lot. There's some kind of wind blowing. It's like a storm or something. That's not from the original game. Wow, yeah, that's way too... If it's so bright that you can't see the map, yeah, that might be a problem. Let me see if I can show you guys where the original door that wakes in darkness is, if it'll let me. It's actually down here. Or at least I thought it was. Yep, here it is. So they left that in there. Oh my god, I'm gonna get killed. They left that in there. Okay, so we made it to the apartments. Is part of the main game here. I'll go ahead and save it. Alright, and then I'm gonna end the video, but there's something that I want to show you. Like I said, that it refers, or it's in reference to where Silent Hill is, okay? Alright guys, so real quick before we end the video, I feel like I'm tripping or something right now because I got an early access to the game. I paid the extra amount whenever I bought it, and I got to play it a couple of days early. And the first time I played it, like I've been looking for this thing for a long time now. If it's an actual thing, I'm sure somebody else will find it, but I swear. I saw something. Let me try one more thing. I saw something the very first time I played the game, and I don't see it anymore, and I thought that maybe it was like right here. If you look at the map, I'm right just east of where you come into town at from that little trail road. It's called Wiltsey Road on here. You can actually see the other side of this street if you are standing on Wiltsey Road, where you come in at. So we're on the south side. You come in on the north side of this street that I'm facing right now, and there's like a tree that fell, so the road is closed off. But I swear to you guys, I saw a vehicle, and there is a vehicle right here, but this isn't the vehicle that I saw. And maybe I'm just tripping, guys. That's a possibility. But I swear, I looked at one of these license plates and it was like different. It was different than these other ones. It was blue. Instead of white, it was blue. And it had a state name on it. And I know I'm not tripping, guys. Like, I saw it plain as day. And I can't find it now for the life of me. But when I saw it, I thought it was like, probably, you know, after playing the entire game, I thought that it was one of the coolest things about this game, and now I can't find it. So that's kind of disappointing. Maybe I was tripping, like, I don't know. I don't know, but I've checked all these cars, you know, in case I'm making some kind of an error. I guess if it is an actual thing, if it's for real, then somebody else may find it as well. But it was one of the first things that stood out to me. And on the license plate, it said Maine. That's what it said on the license plate. And I thought it was awesome because you know, a lot of people will say, oh, Silent Hill is Centralia. Centralia is Silent Hill. They're one and the same. No, Centralia is a town that got ruined by a coal fire in Pennsylvania back in the 1960s, 70s. And it had to be abandoned by the late 80s, early 90s because of a coal fire burning underground, which forced the residents to leave. And it was inspired for the movie, but not the games. Not the games. No, the developers in Japan, Team Silent, they didn't even know about Centralia, Pennsylvania when they made the game. So Silent Hill is not Centralia, Pennsylvania. There's no connotation there other than the inspiration that Avery, whatever his first name is, the director for the first Silent Hill movie, had, you know, as an idea to make the movie. In the movie, actually Silent Hill is in West Virginia, but that's BS too. And I swear to you guys, I saw this license plate and it said Maine. And the reason why I think Silent Hill is in Maine is because they were so inspired by Stephen King. He was one of the biggest inspirations for the original team that designed the game, especially the original game. And you'll find all kinds of references in the game about Stephen King. There's a Bachman Road, which is actually the, whatever that word is, the alias, how do you say that word? His pen name that he used to publish some books, because apparently in the United States you're only allowed to publish so many books per year, and you can't go over that number. So he like used a different name as the author. He used the name Richard Bachman, and so he could actually publish a whole bunch of other books, which is interesting. But they were very influenced by Stephen King. They actually reached out to Stephen King before they made the game to see if he would collaborate with them, and he didn't. But he is all in that game. Like, there's a picture of him in the cafe when you first start, on the wall, a poster. And all of his work, just about, nearly all of it, is based in Maine. So, and I think that's actually where he's from. If it's not where he's from, it's where he lives. His house is in Maine. And so that's why I believe that Silent Hill was actually based in Maine. And I swear I saw this license plate in this game. Maybe, and I guess maybe I was imagining things, but I swear I saw it. I don't know what that was. Maybe that was maybe that was the town getting into my psyche and manifesting things. But the last thing that I want to show you guys before we end the video is this part right here. I forgot to point this out earlier, but I mentioned the road, Vox Road. It actually has no name in the original game, but this is where you go up and see the first lying figure in the original game when you get the plank. And there's actually a sign right here. I can't read it again, it won't let me, but it says area closed off due to an accident. Trespassing might lead to injury or death. That's not in the original game, but it's pretty interesting. So what's up with that? Anyway, I will leave you guys there. I thank you for watching once again. I hope you're enjoying this intensely detailed walkthrough, highly detailed walkthrough. I'm pointing out all kinds of stuff in both games. I'm trying not to rush, but I'm trying not to get hung up too much on this or that. I'm trying to kind of keep it moving a little bit, but not so fast that I'm actually overlooking things. And I feel like I'm doing that in this game, and I don't want to do that. So let me readjust my pace, and I'll get back with you in part 3. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. See you later. Bye.